guys, welcome to another video of Amanda Bakes. Today is Thanksgiving, and so we're going to be making one of the recipes that my family makes every Thanksgiving. So we're going to be making some buttery pull-apart rolls for our Thanksgiving that you can make along with your Thanksgiving dinner. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to add is 2 cups of warm water. So as you can see, I've got the water running in the background so that we can go ahead and add 2 cups of it. Okay, so this is going to be similar to the video where I made bread with my dad. So the first thing we're going to add is 2 cups of warm water. So I've got it here. I've got that here, and you don't want it to be like boiling hot, just warm. If it's too high in temperature, then it'll actually hurt the yeast. So we're going to add 2 cups of warm water and then 2 tablespoons of yeast. Okay, so here I have the yeast, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of that to the mixing bowl with the warm water. And you want the tablespoon measure to be completely dry when it goes in the yeast container. Okay, the next thing we're going to add is some sugar, and we need ½ a cup of that. Okay, so here I have my sugar, and I'm going to add ½ a cup of that to the mixing bowl. And then we're going to mix that all together. So here I've got a whisk, and we're just going to hand whisk those ingredients together. And you just want it to be combined. No clumps of yeast or sugar. Okay, as a heads up, for the next little while or so, my brother has a bass lesson in the other room, so you're just going to hear some of that in the background. But moving on to this, the next thing we're going to add is 4 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to put that in the mixing bowl. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. And then finally, you're going to get a separate little bowl and 2 eggs. And you're going to crack the 2 eggs into the bowl. And then you're going to get a hand whisk and just beat those together. You're going to crush the yellows of the eggs and then just mix it together. So you just want it to be kind of like all yellow. You don't really want any clumps of yellow or clear on their own. There's my brother playing the bass in the background. So then once we've beaten those eggs, we're going to add that to the mixing bowl. We're going to add the first half of our flour, so we're going to add 3½ cups, and this is a ½ cup measurement, so I'm just going to add 7 of this. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to set that to the side, and now we're going to use a bread hook attachment on the mixing bowl, and we're going to go ahead and mix that together. As you go, you'll want to make sure and pause it and scrape the sides to get the excess flour off, and then once it's all mixed together, we're going to add the rest of the flour. So we're just going to add 2 more cups of flour, a piece at a time, while the bowl is mixing. ½ a cup we'll add and let that mix in. And another ½ cup while it's mixing. that mix together until it starts to form into a ball shape. Now we've let it mix together and form into a kind of ball shape in the mixing bowl. So I've got a cutting board here, and we're just going to add some flour on that. Spread it around a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and take all the dough out of the bowl. So I'm going to take out the bread hook attachment and just set that to the side. Get all the dough off of that. And then I'm going to scoop out all of the dough and put it on the cutting board. So I'm just going to scoop out all of the dough.
It will be sticky.
It's very sticky. You might want to get like a spatula or something to help you scrape the sides of the bowl. For now, I'm just going to use my hands. So you want to get all of the dough out of the bowl. Before you do that, you might want to add some flour to your hands just so it doesn't stick as much when you try and take it out. So once you've got as much dough out of the bowl as you can get, you're just going to kind of form it into a little ball in the middle.
Add flour as needed to help from sticking.
Add flour when you need it to help it from sticking together. And I'm going to try and pull as much as I can off of my fingers as well. Okay, so now I've gotten as much of the dough out of the bowl as I can, so I'm going to take some flour and just kind of put it on my hands so that my hands are coated in flour. And
put right over the top too.
Put some on the top of the dough. My dad's here helping me behind the scenes.
So grab your half cup and get a little flour in it. A la Swedish chef.
So you're just going to add some flour over the top of the dough. Okay, so once you've got as much dough as you can out, you're going to cover it in flour and just start to knead it. So you're just going to kind of push and pull it apart and back together again. And add some flour to your hands or the cutting board as needed, so there's not really any sticky parts. Or as sticky at least. They can be a little sticky. Something my dad likes to do and make this is just throw it on the board and then pull it back together again. Ow! 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 Okay, so I'm going to add some more flour. It's starting to get sticky again.
Probably need just a couple more times and then put it into your ball.
Okay. So if you couldn't hear him, we're just going to knead it a couple more times and then put it into the ball shape.
It's okay if there's some on the bottom. Yeah, I go ahead and form it into a ball now.
Okay. So we're going to start forming it into a ball.
Just a loose ball, about like that is fine. Because it's going to raise now.
So it's going to look about like this. And you're just going to set that there and get a towel to lay over it and let it raise for...
Just like a tea towel.
And how long are we letting it raise for?
Probably go at least an hour or so.
So we'll let that raise and then we'll come back then. So the bread has been rising for just over an hour. So the next things you're going to need are 2 of these bundt pans, a small glass bowl, a stick of butter, and a knife. So we're going to take the stick of butter and we're going to cut it in half. And we're going to put the first half in the small bowl and leave the other half to the side for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to microwave that half a stick of butter just until it turns liquidy. And then we're gonna pour that in the bottom of one of the bundt pans. And then after that, we're gonna do the same with the other half stick. Okay, so here we have our glass bowl with our melted half stick of butter in it. And we're just gonna pour that in one of the bundt pans. Just kind of all around it. And then we're gonna get the other half stick of butter and go and melt that. So now we have the other half stick of butter, and we're gonna go ahead and add that to the bowl as well. So I've got it on paper towel because the bowl is hot. And that's how I'm gonna hold it. And then I'm just gonna pour it in the other tin. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to the dough and just kind of flatten it out.
Put some flour on top of it.
Yep. We're gonna put some flour on top first. So just sprinkle some flour over the top of the dough. And spread that around. And then we're just gonna kind of flatten it out. So I'm just gonna stretch it to the edges of the cutting board. Okay, so we're just going to push it to right about there. And then you're going to get a glass like this one. And we're just going to use that and make little circle shapes in the dough. Just like that. And then we're going to get that. And we're going to just place them in the bundt pan. And then we'll cut another circle and place that one just barely overlapping the next one. And we're gonna go ahead and do that all the way around the pan. Now we've got all of our dough put in the pans, and it's gonna look something like this. They don't have to be perfect circles. They can just kind of a shape similar to that. And if you have extras, once you've already gone all the way around, just try and like cram them into the space around it in the pan. So now we're going to cover these with a towel and let them sit for about another 30 to 45 minutes until the dough rises close to the top of the pans. Okay, so the rolls have been rising and they're almost at the top. So now we're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees and bake these for 25 minutes. The timer just went off, so I went ahead and took these out of the oven. And what we're gonna do now is get 2 plates and just flip the pan over so that we can get the rolls out onto the plate. Let me see if I can figure this out. Like this one. See, it just pops out like that. And then try and hit it on the center because you don't really want to move it. You don't want to fall apart. Let's see if this one will come out. Let me figure that one out. Okay, so I just got the second one out of the pan, and it's gonna look something like this when you're done with the rolls. And they just turned out these really buttery, good rolls. So yeah, you can make them for Thanksgiving if you want, which is today, so perfect timing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that if you made them, they turned out well. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to my channel to get the rest of my baking videos. Happy Thanksgiving, have a great rest of your break, and I'll see you next time.